name is Kat, and today I want to talk about new book releases of April and my plans, both reading and otherwise, for the next month or so here. So once again, I am here with a very belated video. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to make this a habit, but I am the worst. Even though most of these April releases have already been released, I am still excited about them and I still want to talk about them, so let's get into that. First up, I have here When We Collided by Emery Lord, which came out on April 5th. This is about a girl named Vivi who moves to this new town with her mom in order to kind of get a fresh start because she's dealing with some personal things, and she meets a boy named Jonah who also has his share of personal issues to work through, but they end up connecting and forming this relationship. What I find especially interesting about this book is that it is told in a dual perspective, which we don't see a lot of in contemporary young adults. Also, while this book obviously has a romance in it, it's not all about the romance. Like, there's a good amount of attention put onto family relationships and some mental health issues, and both of our main characters have their own personal journeys. It's not just about the romance. So that all sounds good to me, and I've also heard that this book has beautiful writing, which I'm always a sucker for, so yeah, I definitely want to check this one out. Next up is Lady Renegades by Rachel Hawkins, which also came out on April 5th. This is the third and final book in the Rebel Belle trilogy, and I can't talk a lot about the synopsis because I don't want to spoil anything, but I loved the first book, and I enjoyed the second book, even though I felt it was a bit of a bridge book, but now that we're here at the book that the bridge connects to, I'm very excited to see how this series is gonna end. Did that make sense? If you want to know a bit more about this series and my general thoughts on it, I actually did a full review for Rebel Belle, so I'll link that down below if you want to check it out. Then I have here The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead, and this one also came out on April 5th. This is the first book in a new trilogy, but each installment in this trilogy actually follows a different main character, though as the series goes on, we will see more of how their stories are all intertwined. In this installment, we follow a young countess named Adelaide, who poses as her own servant in order to escape an arranged marriage. She ends up joining the Glittering Court, which is kind of like a school that takes impoverished girls and transforms them into upper-class ladies who can secure a favorable marriage. I loved the Vampire Academy series and the Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead, so I am definitely interested in reading more by her, and this new series just sounds super interesting, so I've got to give it a go. Next up, I want to talk about Hamilton, The Revolution by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jeremy MacArthur. And this came out on April 12th. I love Hamilton, the musical, so much. So much. I'm trying not to focus too much on the fact that I probably will never get to see this show live. Like, that's something I've been struggling to come to terms with lately. I'll be okay. Don't worry about me. At least I have the soundtrack and this book now. And, Ham for Ham's on YouTube, and Lin-Manuel Miranda's on Tumblr and on Twitter, and he is just a gift to the universe. I do, of course, already have this book. It's just downstairs and I couldn't be bothered to grab it before filming this video. It's filled with information both on the revolution that Alexander Hamilton took part in, and also the revolution of Hamilton the musical that is kind of sweeping the world right now. It certainly swept through my life and took over everything. And it's free to listen to on Spotify or YouTube. Like, there's really no excuse to not listen to it. Jessie. And finally, I have here The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, and this one actually is not yet out. It comes out next Tuesday on April 26th. This is the fourth and final book in the Raven Cycle Quartet, and I wish there was a better word to describe my emotional state over the anticipation of this book. Like, I don't think there's a word that quite describes the blending of excitement and absolute terror. I'm kind of having trouble with the fact that we're gonna have to say goodbye to these characters, and some of these goodbyes might be more permanent than others, if you know what I mean. And that's really all I want to say about this book, because I don't want to spoil anything about it. I really do not want to get spoiled about this book. I've seen some people are reading it already. They got it in their bookstores early or whatever, and I've been working diligently to avoid spoilers. Like, I have been staying off Tumblr even, and that's been real difficult for me. So I'm trying not to get spoiled. I know I have to read this book like a sap so that I can experience it myself before, outside sources affect my experience. And now I'm just rambling about my anxiety over reading this book. But anyways, I'm anxious and excited and slightly terrified, but also, like, kind of desperate for this book. Like, I'm more curious than anything about how it's all gonna wrap up. So yes, I will be trying to read this book very, very soon. And on that note, let's talk a little bit about my reading for the month of April. It's gonna be really easy to be brief here because I haven't read anything. Yeah. I am still struggling with the slump. I am currently making my way through Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson because this is the Booksplosion book of the month, and I'm kind of on a timeline of when I have to read it by, which is this Saturday because that's when the live show is, so I have like 2 days to finish it. I gotta get on that. I'll put all the live show info down in the description in case you're interested in checking that out. As for my other reading plans for the next month or so here, I don't really have any. Like, there are so many books that I want to read and I'm excited to read in theory, but when it comes to actually picking them up and reading, I just haven't been that into it lately. Like, I've been in a very reading slumpy mood. I can make myself read, and like when I do that, I do enjoy what I'm reading. Like, I'm enjoying Second Chance Summer, even though I'm kind of making myself read it. You know, not reading lately has given me a lot of free time to listen to Hamilton and play World of Warcraft. So, I've been keeping busy. But yeah, there are a ton of books that I'm really looking forward to reading, like Morningstar still, and A Gathering of Shadows still, and The Raven King, and the other books I mentioned in this video, and other books that are coming out very soon, like the sequel to A Court of Thorns and Roses. But I'm not gonna force myself to read. Like, I don't want to stress myself out and pressure myself because that doesn't sound fun at all. So I'm gonna get back into reading. Like, I have faith that I will fall in love with reading again and be super excited and passionate about it. It just hasn't been that way lately. One thing that I think is really going to help me get back into that reading mood is that I have some bookish events coming up that I'm very excited for. I'm going to be attending YALLWEST in Los Angeles at the end of this month. There's going to be a Booksplosion meetup, and I'm also going to be speaking on a panel. And I will be attending BEA and BookCon in Chicago in May. At BookCon, there's also going to be a Booksplosion panel and meetup. So yeah, I have these exciting bookish events coming up in the very near future, and I feel like that will really help me get excited about books and reading again, because I'm not quite there, but I'm getting there. I'll go ahead and put all of the information and details about these events and the meetups and panels and whatnot down in the description in case you are interested in any of that stuff. But yeah, that is just about it for this video today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will have another video up sometime. So I will see you then. Goodbye! Bye.